today. Lucy's focused.
I am focused. This is my focus face. I'm reading things. This is how I work. Okay. I'm listening and I'm paying attention.
I know you were. It's just funny because I was like, I'm going to start it. And then you were like,
yeah,
to your computer.
Start.
Hi, guys. We are back for another episode of Bingu and Choom and K-Pop Tunes, the podcast.
Do we intro here?
I don't know. I don't know anymore. I'm Choom if you don't know. I hope you know by now.
I'm Bingu. I mean, you can call us by our regular names.
Yeah, you can call us by our regular names too.
Whatever you want.
Whatever you feel like.
We just don't know anymore. We're gonna figure it out, but we haven't figured it out right now.
We haven't yet because
moment.
we're doing so many forms of media that we're just like, we don't know. But someday we'll get into a routine. Mm-hmm. So for now, it'll just be this.
And today we are having a debate. I guess it's not a debate. A discussion on whether cancel culture is is it real?
Is it real?
Is it a folklore? Like, what is it?
What is cancel culture? It is something that is very popular in K-pop.
I think it's really popular in general.
It is, but I feel like K-pop, it's very like
always pronounced, always there.
Prominent. Yeah, always there.
Mm-hmm. So I think to open up the discussion, I think I should ask, do you believe that cancel culture is real?
Real?
Mm-hmm.
No.
Okay.
Like, I don't believe in it, but it is a thing that I can see is like. See, that's a very awkward question. Because
is it?
like I think it is because like cancel culture is clearly a prominent thing, but I don't think it's real. Like, humans are humans. People are people. We're going to make mistakes. Cancel culture doesn't leave room for people to grow from mistakes. And so that's why I don't believe in it, because I don't think it's something that really reflects on human nature properly. I think it's just a bandwagon kind of phenomenon that shouldn't exist.
That's a real answer.
Like borderline bullying. What were you expecting? A fake answer?
Well, no, I mean, like, you gave an in-depth answer. I'm not saying you give bad answers, but like for listeners, it's not just a yes or no. You know, a lot of people can just be, anybody could just be like, yeah.
That's why I gave an in-depth answer, Lacey. I wanted people to know why.
Okay. For me,
what were you expecting of me?
I was expecting that. The bar's high. And you met the bar.
So what about for you?
I don't think it exists. I think it's just a word.
It's just a word.
Yeah. Comparing.
I should have said that.
Comparing even with cultures like K-pop or just the United States, what we deem as cancel culture, it's not real. And when I was younger, I kind of like believed it, but I think with some of the artists that we'll talk about today, I just don't believe it's not a thing. I think it's a thing to keep people relevant in a topic, but when it comes down to people actually canceling, it's not a thing. It's just not a thing. For me, I feel like if it was real and it was more than a word, we would be experiencing a lot of things differently. We would be seeing a lot of artists that have been canceled that simply just don't exist anymore.
They just fall off the face of the earth.
And as a US comparison, what I think is really strong is Kanye West.
Mm-hmm.
Like, he's a really good example of there's no such thing.
Yeah. I do think in general though, and I like put this in our little notes for the episode, just some things to think about, in comparison to cancel culture and K-pop and like the American audience, or at least American culture. Um, Korean celebrities are scrutinized a lot more than American celebrities are. So I think that's one way that cancel culture, wow, I can't speak today. Cancel culture uh,
Differentiates.
differentiates between the two. Thank you. Wow.
Mhm.
Wow.
It's
I'm
okay.
I'm gonna go on vacation, guys. See you whenever. I'm gonna go to a little island far away, relearn English. I think that is one way it differentiates though between the two cultures is because like one thing I've noticed just being a K-pop fan for so long is K-pop already has like a very and Korean culture for their celebrities, not just K-pop. Korean culture for a lot of their celebrities and a lot of their people in power all have a already have a very strict perfectionist mindset
Mhm.
where it really allows no room for mistakes and like they want their people that are in the spotlight to essentially be like perfect, a robot, like not make any mistakes, not really be human. It seems like just because they even frown upon like going out and drinking sometimes. Just simple things that we take, I think, for granted in American culture. It's like a lot stricter in Korean culture. So I think that is one reason that cancel culture is just much more prominent in K-pop because it also plays into Korea's already existing perfectionist mindset.
Mhm.
Because I have seen celebrities in K-pop be canceled and disappear off the face of the earth, or at least like disappear for a very long time and then not come back.
Yeah, I'm thinking of a couple, and it makes sense when if you're just focusing on it from the perspective of, you know, being Korean or living in Korea from that standpoint, from that side of the fence, and then just like being a global fan and how that's different because they're both
Yeah,
different.
yeah.
Um, because if we talk about the global aspect, definitely does not apply. Like y'all say some people are canceled, and then like the year's almost over, and you're out here talking about them and hyping them up. It doesn't make sense.
I
Um,
think too, going off the global aspect as well. We've talked about this before, you and I, and I think it's really important to just keep in mind that people still don't really realize is for some of the things that globally a fan will cancel their idol for, Korea is still very monocultural. Like they're still a very monocultural country. They're geographically pretty isolated. And I don't think people are still wrapping their head around the fact that some of the things that we learn in school, history wise, social studies wise, Korea doesn't. They learn about their history. They don't learn about all of the worldwide aspects. So there are a lot of things culturally that they are not aware of. And those
mhm.
are the things that I feel global fans are canceling them for. And
And
they
that
might not
avoids,
realize what they did wrong, to be completely honest.
and like with that, that's why it's such a debate for me because you don't know.
Yeah.
My thing is like I'm all for me personally, when I say someone is canceled, I will actually cancel them. Like I will not support them or anything, but I'm not going to make it known. It's just hard when you really don't know. Like you really don't know who's at fault. And
Yeah.
that's what's odd.
Is it the individual idol? Is it the
Or yeah,
company?
is it like the company or like is it the
The
team for doing
stylist, the
something?
team? Yeah.
Cuz I agree with how like compared to us, South Korea needs it has to catch up in a lot of ways. Like societally or as a society,
Mm.
they're really behind. And it's not just in terms of like the basics of gender role or like tradition. it's beyond that. So that's why when it comes to specifically canceling because of like something racist, I'm always like, I I get it,
I yeah.
but I want to know more. I want to
Yeah.
know who, is it really their fault is my thing.
Mhm.
Cuz if I'm imagining it from the standpoint of someone that just knows their life and like you said, they just know their history. They also just know, I just really feel like you're in that mindset like how we felt, like how I felt when I was like in middle school and high school. I didn't know a lot.
Yeah, no, same.
Um
There's still stuff that I don't know. And like that's
but
why I know
even
Twi
but even then, like how we reacted to certain things is
yeah,
completely different than
different than
how
now.
now. And even the
Yeah.
way we think. So if I'm thinking, if I'm putting my mindset from then and I'm applying that to like overseas, I don't think I'd be surprised, especially when I'm not around a diverse group of people.
Yeah.
So that's just, I will always be on the fence until one day it's just very clear. But
That it's a certain way. Yeah, same. I in instances like that, I understand and I get it too. And I obviously for a lot of the racial things that pop up that they're getting canceled for have to be a little bit more tentative with my opinion because I'm not the one that's directly affected. And that's
mhm.
something I understand. But just mentally, I'm always of the mindset of just like, stay on the fence. I want to give them the benefit of the doubt because, as you said, is it the individual's fault? Is it the company's fault? We don't really know. We don't know whose fault it is. Did the company tell them to say or act this way? Did they write the song? Like, what happened? Um, but like I obviously am not the one directly affected, so for a lot of situations that pop up I have to stay a little bit quieter about things, and I understand that. Like I'm not the one that has the right to be angry about things, but I do think people need to keep in mind that, like you said, Korea is still very far behind.
Yeah, I just, it's what you said. I don't think people really understand that. I don't think
Mhm.
they'll understand that until um it didn't start becoming clear to me until I started listening to Koreans that were American Koreans that visited South Korea, or like, or they're from South Korea and they stay in the States or somewhere else for a while and they talk about their experiences. Because the fact that they're like it's typically materialistic over there is enough to tell me like a lot about the culture and just society. Um, because if looks are that important, there are a lot of other things I feel like
Yeah.
you think that we that they think is like for us traditional. Like that's just old. Like nobody thinks like that anymore type of thing. Like a lot of people don't anymore. That's the best way I can compare it.
Yeah.
But do you want to start like do you how do you want to how do you want to go about this other than us going into that? Cuz I could talk about that all day.
um I guess we could just jump down to some reasons why people are canceled, because the first half of everything we kind of mentioned it already, and I think the first two lines we can do as like a tie-in at the end. um we can just tell people some reasons we've noticed Korean stars are canceled and then go into some instances if you want.
Mhm. I think the most obvious one, we can just get it out the way, is like from a global standpoint is racism.
Yeah,
Um that
definitely.
is always like for idols is always the thing. Like no matter what, someone is gonna get canceled. Idols, R&B artists, rap artists, but especially those last two is always like a huge deal. And
Hmm.
like even more so with hair, and I'm not really in the trenches like that anymore, but I know using the N-word was like that's always a debate too.
Yeah,
In general, that is a huge debate. And
especially because that word sounds like a Korean word. And
yeah,
there have been many instances where people have actually mixed up the two.
which I don't, I think for most black people, we know the difference. Like when
Yeah.
you're in the Korean music, I'm sorry, but it means I. Just know that. Like it's okay. But you know when it's not used as like I. And I just I will never understand why anyone would. I just don't get it. I don't That's the only thing I just don't get. Like why do you say it? Cuz
Yeah.
oh, it's to sound cool, but do you think I'm going to start saying like racial slurs because it sounds cool? No. Like say your own slurs. How does that make you feel? If it makes you feel like crap, how about y'all focus like not this is not just artists. This is like generally. Like if you want to say that, so why don't you work on your own slurs to make them sound cool?
Work on your own stuff.
And you see it doesn't work. It doesn't That's not how it does like it just doesn't work. Cuz if I were the one that would just say slurs to anybody, it's not right.
Yeah.
But it sounds cool. You know how stupid you see how stupid I sound? But it
No.
sounds cool. So I want to say it and then my friend said it's okay for me to say it. So I don't see the problem. You don't. Cuz nobody is big enough to tell you to like don't say it. Trying to help you cuz you're going to get your ass beat if you say it to the wrong
Yeah, if you're in the wrong neighborhood at the wrong time, saying to the
like
wrong person,
if you're saying that to the wrong person,
you're gonna
you deserve it.
not.
You
Yeah.
Like, don't say that. Don't. Just don't. You don't sound cool. You don't look cool. It's the same thing with like, I understand dreads and like braids are really popular in general too, but especially in like K pop and stuff. But I just don't know what else to say other than it doesn't look good. It doesn't look good on anyone else. And it's not, I, it doesn't look good. And then your hair is going to fall out because of it, because of those styles, because they're not meant for that hair texture. Like, I'm not
And
even
that's another
speaking
thing that plays into why it looks good is like the texture of the hair. You can
texture.
clearly tell that it's meant for one and not for the other.
And I'm not even speaking from like it's because I'm black. I'm speaking because like logically it don't look good. It just
No, it doesn't
doesn't.
look good.
But if I'm speaking from like as a black person, um it's just I don't think this Korean culture understands it, but I know like the in the United States, the people who do it know that it's not right because when we do it, we're denied like privileges. Like I can't just do dreads or even in some places still in corporate America where you will be looked at as ghetto and just nobody everyone will judge you just because of that. And it's wild. So for people that are not black to do that and to get away with it is like that's the problem. The problem is
Yeah.
that we just can't exist with just our own hairstyles because of how we're depicted. But when everyone else does it, it's deemed as like cool and cute and fashionable. That goes in on a deeper level with fashion in general because
And
that's
that falls into the cultural appropriation part of why stars are canceled within your very umbrella term of racism.
yeah. Oh yeah, the clothes because like I get why people are get upset for that because I get upset when that happens in the states, um, especially with like the Kardashians. I literally that's another example. Like culture does not exist because why are these girls still relevant?
Yeah.
It's very clear that they thrive off stealing culture and they
Yeah.
profit off of it. And now that Like the fact that they made aspects of black bodies attractive, and now that it's easily obtainable, they're moving back to like white skinny is the best way I
Yeah.
could describe it. And they're able to afford that. So now it's just another level of like something you can't obtain. But with Korean culture, it I feel like it depends. Um but then again, that's hard. Cuz if a rap artist does that and like they're just a rap artist, they're not part of a group or anything. My question is, I understand that there's not a lot of black people in South Korea, but are you around black people? That's my first question. Because
Yeah.
I feel like black people should say something about it. If you're not saying anything about it, I'm looking at you sideways because it's that's okay, not okay. It doesn't make they look crazy. You look crazy with your dreads. That's the pinpoint here. You look crazy. You look dumb. Take it
You
off.
look so- Just
Like
shave it.
save
Shave
it.
it.
If you know black people and like you're friends with them and you did that, that's where I'm just like,
They would call you out. I would hope they would call. I know Lacey would call me out. I
but that
wouldn't do that anyway,
you
but
say
like,
that, you say that, but you'd be surprised.
but
Like
they
you
don't.
would be surprised.
Just start calling people out.
Like say it.
Yeah, just
But
say it.
if it's not, if
If you are actually
I
friends
get
with the
it,
person,
I feel like if I am a rapper and I just love Kendrick Lamar, I just love everything he does. And he just be wearing dreads. Like Jay-Z, like wow, Jay-Z is so cool and he has those dreads. Jay-Z looks dusty with those dreads. But that's not but if like that's who you aspire to be, like is if that's your role model and you're like, I love everything they do, way all the way down to like how they dress and how they do their hair. I can't really I can't say that's ignorance unless you know about black culture like that in depth. It really depends. Like we talked about I don't know, did we talk about it before with Jay Park? I think we did. Like when it comes to like Jay Park, that's debatable. That's how like I feel like you know. You absolutely know what you're doing when you're like if you say the N-word or you wear a hairstyle
yeah.
or you
Actually,
wear
didn't include
flashy.
Jay Park on this list because I
Mhm.
could not even keep track.
It's a
So
lot, but like it's
uh,
also a debate because it's like you're from the States, so you know.
yeah, he definitely knows
But
in
I
that
do
instance.
feel like that's the case where I know you surround yourself with like some black people, and I know they're not saying anything about it. And if they do, you it's either you don't care or you just genuinely just do not get it. And that's why I'm like always on the fence with him
Mm-hmm.
because it's happened so many times.
Yeah,
Like,
repeat
do you not just
offender.
get it? Do you not get it? Like,
But at that point, because it's happened so many times, he should be starting to get it. Like that's
exactly.
that's that's what the that's what's really like surprising is if it's happened so many times, he should be starting to get it. Like if people keep telling you over and over and over, don't do this, this is wrong. Especially fans, like
Like
that's the loudest
paragraphs. They send
fanboys.
you paragraphs
Yeah.
in videos on how to learn and blah blah blah. Like I feel it's like you said. I feel like you would know. I feel like you would feel some type of way. So that he's an example. And recently, J Hope has become like a topic for I don't know the details, but I think someone said that he wasn't respecting. Don't put words in my mouth. I'm not gonna get on here and lie, but it was something on the lines of I think it was he wasn't giving like respect to rap culture or people were insinuating allegedly that he wasn't he was stealing like black culture from like the music he did or whatever, but I don't believe it. I'm laughing because it's kind of like I know J
He's
Hope knows. Like he's not disrespectful at all.
yeah,
Like he's
yeah,
not Namjoon isn't and Suga isn't. Like I feel like they're cultured enough to know. Like they understand that. Like I feel like
yeah,
they understood that um maybe not when they first came out.
yeah. Maybe
I
not.
feel like Namjoon just really loved afro hair or maybe the stylist just really loved afro hair and that's what they did to him. And it wasn't the best choice.
No.
But that's the past. Like cuz when that came out, I didn't blink twice about that. That's the thing. I never blinked twice about
That was an era when cancel culture really wasn't that huge either, because I none of us really reacted to Namjoon's hair. But I do remember if an artist did like dreads, for example, that's when we would like
it's the
question
dreads and the
the
grills where
and the
I'm just
braids too.
like, let's
Let's
take a
stop.
step back cuz that's not it.
Ta-
'Cause I think that's when it started. I feel like that's when it started becoming a thing.
Possibly because like Block B debuted much longer before them, and Zico had dreads, and
Nobody said like even
nobody
Tae,
said anything.
even
I hated
Taeyong,
it.
even Taeyong from Big Bang, he did braids and stuff all the
Oh
time.
yeah, he did
Nobody said
braids, and
anything
nobody said anything. Yeah,
until much later, and like Taeyong's whole like concept of being an R&B artist. That's a documentary because they wanted him to be the Asian Usher so bad.
sure.
And you don't realize that until like I give you that and you think about it. He did
Yeah.
the love songs, he was dancing in the rain. The
He even had like a fedora at one
that's what
point.
I'm
I'm
saying.
pretty sure.
I fell for it. It is
I
good.
felt for it.
I'm not gonna say it wasn't good, like
Oh, it was good,
but when
and
he did it, I'd
his
never
first solo
assumed
album was good.
it was great. Like that was him. Done.
That-
But like
oh.
when it comes to him, I never felt like he was doing it offensively.
Yeah, no, it never felt disrespectful from him.
Mm-mm. I think it
Um,
that's what I feel like it depends on how it's being
Presented.
showcased too.
Yeah,
I think I remember was that CL where she was getting her braids done on the stairs or something? Because that was an issue.
I don't remember.
It was either CL or someone from 21 where dang, was that it? It was a group from that era where it was a music video and someone was getting their hair braided on the stairs and stuff, and that was an issue because I could see it because that whole aspect of like hair braiding, like this and braiding on the stairs, that's very black.
Mhm.
It's not something you should view as cool.
Yeah,
Um, and I think it just made a lot of people uncomfortable. Like that's not. Don't think that's like cool and cute, girl. That's just not. Um, that's where I think that's cultural appropriation. But is it the artist's fault?
or is it
Or
when
is it
it
the
goes
like
back
the
to yeah,
team? Like the stylist team or the art directing team?
yeah? It goes back to that question at the start of this episode of
Because I think
like,
it was a team. Like nobody like and nobody would know. Nobody would know that was offensive. That's the thing.
mhm,
Like, oh, we're gonna do this scene. Does anyone like feel any other type of way about it? And they look around the room and it's a bunch of native Koreans in that room. You think they're
nobody's
gonna
gonna.
say,
Yeah,
I have a problem with this? Nobody's gonna say that. Same with the hairstyling. Like you got people in the chair and they're just it's like they've been up for 24 hours and they're sleepy and they're falling like to sleep. Like they're going to sleep and the stylist is like, I gotta do your hair. Um anyone around me have a problem with me doing the braids? Get all the native Koreans in the room. And like, if they're not from Korea, do you think they really know that much? Because I don't know. I just don't think they do. I really don't. Like, I really don't.
Yeah. Okay.
Because they're young.
Yeah.
Like, when they start and they're just, that's all they know at that point when they debut is just their life before that. You know, I don't think they're using the time outside of that to study
No. Or
anything.
even and like in the very early days of K-pop, they had like their phones and stuff taken away. They weren't allowed to have phones, social media, anything like that. And like a lot of the way we get our news and information about things that we don't know now, especially culturally worldwide, is through social media. Is through like Twitter, is through
It's through
internet platforms.
social, it's through your family and your friends.
Yeah. And that that just
They don't have it.
like Lacey saying that we just eliminated social media and their family and friends are native Koreans.
And are they
Like,
really talking to their friends like that at that point? No.
yeah, if they're a trainee, no.
Are they really studying like that? No.
They're just studying the basics probably to get through school to finish and get their degree so that way they can go back to being an idol full time.
No. Like
Like
you got,
that's it.
there's no cultural department anywhere. There just isn't. They're
Mm,
not there yet. And I don't think they will be there in a long time, honestly. If I don't see it now, I don't really see it happening like
for a while
for a
longer.
while.
Yeah. Okay. Are you you went on a little bit of a tangent there. Understandably so.
Yeah, I'm fine. I'm just like, I just need people to, what I want for people in general, regardless of race, is to really think about both sides and not just at face value. I think when people, I'll say for me, when I started thinking beyond that, um, not just in cultural appropriation, just generally, it it helps me not jump to conclusions. Like, and it's a reminder to know that people can change and people can formulate their opinions. Like, I could say this now, and then like by the end of the year or like next year, I could be like,
Have a
I
different
actually
opinion.
agree with cancel culture and whatever, and I agree whenever someone wears like dreads, I immediately don't support them anymore.
And
So
that's why at the start of this episode, I said I thought cancel culture was fake because it's unfair to judge a person when humans are ever changing. Like people always change their opinions as new information is presented to them. That it doesn't, cancel culture doesn't give people an opportunity to learn from their mistakes. So that's why I'm like, this is a dumb
and I feel
phenomenon.
like the people that deserve cancel culture actually deserve it.
Yeah.
Cuz like you said, like people need time to change and to show that change. There are a lot of artists over here and people we know that are like big. You're racist. Like, I don't know what else to say. That's how like you've had multiple chances, and then
Yeah.
the support is wild cuz like how are y'all saying these things but they're still relevant?
And it's the multiple chances that kind of give it away too. Like if you've given
Yeah.
them, okay, they did the mistake once or twice. I think that's still kind of because they're still learning once or twice. It's not something like you make a mistake and it's going to be fixed immediately. You
Mm.
still are learning. But by like the third or fourth time, if they're still doing
Fine.
it, or if they're like the Jay Parks time to
It's
the
just J Park
mistake,
in general.
um, then it's kind of like, okay, you deserve cancel culture.
That's why with
You,
J Park, I really want to talk to him. I and I'm not gonna be like mean about it. I need to know. I
I
just
just want
need
to
to
know what's going on
know.
in that head.
Like, I don't want to know just from your post. and how you
Yeah.
feel about it. Like I genuinely am curious about how you feel
What
about all.
what is going on? Yeah.
But y'all can cancel him, but I don't see y'all canceling him. That's what
Yeah.
I would say. Well, y'all act like
Yeah.
you're canceling him, but no, you're not. You're really not. It's
Nope.
very obvious. You're not. Am I canceling him? No, girl. I still blast his music. I can't help it. He makes good music. I'm so on the fence with him that I just don't. I haven't
I
really
can't
put him on my list.
can't think critically.
I just feel like some of the stuff he does at this point is just like
Laughable.
it's just dumb.
It's which makes it laughable. Like I whenever I see J Park trending on Twitter, I'm just like, oh, there he goes again.
Do now.
And
And
half the time I don't even check it out. And then Lacey texts me and she's like, did you see what J Park did? No. What did he do now?
the last thing I think he that I noticed he did was he did that Kendrick Lamar rift. Like I think he took it. I don't know. Whatever Kendrick did, J Park did it, and the blacks were like, "What?" It
What?
was the debate of like if that was cultural appropriation. That was the debate.
Yeah.
And what was wild was that I think his manager was like, "Don't do this."
Mm-hmm.
Did it anyway. So that's why I'm like,
He's clearly surrounded by people that are telling him don't.
for sure, for sure,
So what is going on in that head?
one day.
We could do one day. We could do a whole episode of J Park
I
with
know.
hopefully J Park in the episode.
Yes. So tell us about this moment.
Another one that's really popular that idols are often canceled for, especially in Korean aspect of things, are DUIs and drug related incidents and
I was
crimes.
gonna bring up. I wanted to bring up the racism thing, but I wanted to bring up, like you said, drugs, and I thought of bombing.
Bomb, Hanbin, Bi, and
Oh yeah.
Wonho are the three major ones that I think everybody might know about.
Mm,
Bombs is really sad because hers were
very.
prescription because of an accident that
Yeah.
happened in the US that she didn't even want to talk about and reveal. Like, that wasn't her place to tell us why. And it was just really sad that she 21 was at like the top of their game. They were the most popular girl group worldwide. And just because of that, everything just went downhill.
Like that was wild to me that
It
it
was a
wasn't,
split second, too.
and to know that it was just prescription drugs
And
is.
for the reason, like they revealed the reason as well. And
I don't feel like jerks. No, I guess you don't because I can't imagine. Like I can't imagine how she feels like in this point of her life. It's sad. If you don't
yeah,
know, if y'all don't know about bomb, prepare yourself cuz it's not fun.
no.
It sucks. Like that whole thing sucks
Yeah.
compared to the
I don't
others.
even want to talk about it in detail because, like I said, the fact
No.
that she had to share the reasoning, I,
And it was like too late at
they,
that.
yeah, because everything had happened. And they had said before it got to the too late point, they had told everybody it was prescription. And
Nobody listened.
then nobody listened, nobody cared, nobody nobody cared. And then it got to the point where they revealed the reason why. And like for me personally, I was like, I didn't need to know that. You said it was prescription. I believe you. It was prescription. You had an accident. Okay. And then they went into the details of the accident, and I was like, this this is
Freaking suck.
depressing. It sucks. You all are a-holes. I don't know if
Oh,
we're
you
allowed.
don't want to say that? Y'all are
Well,
assholes.
I don't know if we're trying to keep it PG-13 or what anymore.
I curse
I do too. I have a very sailor
at least
mouth.
once. I curse at least once in these type of like
Not even
discussions.
jerks, just assholes.
Yeah.
Hanbin Bi's was also another aspect that I think was kind of y'all are jerks level because he was clearly suffering from anxiety, depression, mental issues, and YG Entertainment was not supporting him, was not helping him. They were pressuring him. They weren't trying to do anything for him. And he clearly sought out the use of weed, which isn't in America even that bad of a drug, and attempted the purchase of LSD. He never actually went through with that purchase
Hmm.
as like a final last resort. Like he needed some sort of relief, and this was the way he was seeking it out. That he was so far down
That's
that
also really
he needed that as like a safety, like a support. The
like
fact
it makes
knowing the fact
you.
that the company didn't help him before he got to that point.
I don't know anything about how mental health is. Well, I think we know enough, but not really about how mental health is like taken care of. Um, like how therapy is in that aspect. Because I don't know. I'm a therapy person. Um, I choose to do that before I try to medicate.
Yeah,
And that just helps a lot. So it makes me wonder like what that is like
in South Korea.
over there. Is it as
Yeah.
is it helpful or did
Well, it's
he
also it
is it
makes me
looked
wonder
down
too because the companies are always like, we take the artist's health seriously, and then things like this happen, and I'm like, how seriously do you take
on?
it then?
I don't believe
He
that.
I feel like for him to have gotten to this point, he must have asked for help. He must have asked for a break. Just like knowing his personality, and
Mhm.
he was just on Dive on their podcast or one of their
Mhm.
shows. I haven't gotten the chance to watch the episode, but I think he kind of talked about some of that stuff.
Well, I need to listen because you know Zello's going to be on there too, or was
Yeah,
on there.
I saw Zello's
Um,
advertisement. I
I
was
need
so
to.
happy when BI popped on though because I literally dive on
Look at these
Instagram and
people I
Twitter.
know.
They were like, "Who should we invite?" And I was like, "Hudbin, Hudbin, Hudbin," and I was tagging him and everything. I was like, "Invite him."
Yeah, I need to
So
listen to it.
yeah, I do too. I haven't had a chance because of things that happened outside of the podcast in personal life, but he was just on it. And I think, like I said, he talked about it a little bit and just talked about kind of his mindset of things. I think, don't quote me on it. I haven't watched it yet. I've only seen a couple clips,
Mm.
but just knowing his personality and knowing after he's come back from this, how honest he's been with fans about a lot of things, I think he had to have sought out help, like with the company. And the company probably in that instance has to be the facilitator.
Mhm.
And so for them to not help him, and then when it all happened, they literally just dropped him. They were like, "You're out of Icon. Your contract
You
is gone."
enough.
Like that. I was a crying mess the day that happened because Wonho had already happened, or was Bi first and then Wonho? I
I
don't
cannot
remember,
tell you
but
because they were both like big
right
deal.
after each other and a big deal. And I just remember because Hanbin was my bias and Icon, and so I just remember being like insanely upset.
Man.
Wonho, on the topic of him, though, is another one that his was all revealed to not even be true. Like after they
It
did
was
the police
like
and like investigations, everything was revealed to be false. And he had allegations as well of using weed and owing money. So like he was in debt essentially.
mm,
So he wasn't really forced to leave Monster X, but some people speculate did the company make him because now the company has deleted him from like everything Monster X related. Um, he stated that he left on purpose so as not to tarnish the name of Monster X, which he's that type of person, so I can
yeah.
see that. But I just think it's crazy how instantaneously, not even from, well, the Korean fans were very like, oh my God, like, did he, didn't he? But the company is the one in this instance that I feel like canceled him because the global fans were just like, no, this isn't fair.
Yeah. that was another one where I was just like, y'all don't want to wait this out first. Um,
It's a mindset thing too,
I
because
did,
for
I did
us,
believe like he did that on his own will,
yeah, he's that
but I
type of
do
person.
feel like I
The
would be
company had
pressured
a, yeah,
to
the
do
company had, I think the company had a little bit of like a,
that.
well, but also in that instance too, knowing his personality, I feel like I would have been pressured as well. Because he is just that type of person that is very selfless.
Right when I got into Monstex and
I
got into it,
know. I
I'm not
know.
like, this is why I'm not doing this. I'm not getting into any of I'm just gonna be like, y'all are cute and move on. I'm not doing it anymore. I'm not having a bias. I'm scared.
That's another one too though where it's such an on the fence thing because for like us in America, marijuana is not that big of a drug. Like you could do so many other things that are 500 times worse than marijuana. But in Korea, marijuana is like the
Like crack.
devil's advocate. Yeah, like crack level. And that's another instance where I think they're just very, very far behind.
They are far behind. I don't know what else to say. Like when you're judging someone just based off looks, like y'all are far behind. And then your expectations for women is to be like a housewife and that's it. They can't have a
Yeah.
job. Yeah, y'all need some work. And I really do hope that changes. Like people being scared because nobody's really having babies like that anymore. Because it's like, this is a huge change and we don't know what's happening. People are just realizing a lot of things over there. So it'll
Mm-hmm.
happen. It's just,
It's just going to take a while because it's all the younger generations that are
mhm,
realizing
thank God. Thank God for that.
it.
Like for us and people younger than us had to start
Literally.
somewhere. So we did racism.
Well, there's a
We
lot. Bullying is another one.
mm,
The most prominent one that comes to mind, at least for me, because I like this group, is G Idol Soojin. She was labeled last year as a bully, supposed delinquent behavior. Um, Another actress came and like added, kind of just stirred the pot and was like, "Oh yeah, she bullied me too." And Sujin was like, "I don't even know this person. Like they were in a whole other portion of the school, different class. Like I don't
mm,
know them."
I don't care.
But people just took it for like, "Oh, she's lying." Like clearly the person that was bullied is the one telling the truth. But the craziest part about this is Cube is known for dropping their idols. Just look at Hyuna and Dawn. Cube is
Mhm.
not good with supporting their idols. Craziest part to me though is Sujin had evidence herself. She collected, before she ever got a lawyer, she collected a ton of evidence herself and presented it to the public herself. That was in her favor. And as of 2 weeks ago now, I think, you know what the verdict came back as?
What did it come
She,
back as?
she was innocent. All the evidence that she had, the lawyer also had it.
That's my
And
thing.
she
Like
came back as innocent, and some of the investigation even revealed that she might have been one of the people that was actually bullied, not the other way around.
that's my thing. I don't fault people for believing the victim first. Um,
But this is one of those
but I'm
instances
saying,
where it's like,
like when you, for me, I'm going to be on the side of the victim until I see evidence. And even if I don't know enough and it's just that shallow, I'm not gonna touch that. So for people to just like the mindset of grabbing whatever and just running with it
it's that
is
face value thing,
terrible.
is what I was going to say before you were like, wait,
Yeah.
just taking it for face value. Like I am going to believe the victim too, but I'm also one of the people that's tentatively like, okay, well, an investigation is clearly going to start for something like this. So until I see evidence, but Sujin didn't even let it get to that point. She immediately was just like, evidence here. It didn't even take her like a
People
week
just
to get it.
that
And
like
so when she had that evidence and it was clearly detailed paragraph, like length, she had lengthy statements. I was like, okay, I can't believe the victim in
mm,
this instance. Like she has
The way I would
timestamps,
sue you for
dates.
defamation.
Yeah.
I really would. Like, y'all are not about to mess up my name like that. I'm
Yeah,
getting money
no.
from this. I'm traumatized. I'm gonna get money from it. I'm not worried about it. So, like, I don't know. I don't get the whole taking it and running with it.
Yeah.
And that's changed over here too. Like we still need work, but it's been very much waiting for that evidence or already having some of the evidence and then forming an opinion.
Yeah. I think cancel culture overall, like I don't believe in it, like I said. I think it's still very prominent in K-pop, but overall, like at least here in America, I've noticed that it does seem to be slowing its roll a little bit. People are, like you said, waiting for the evidence and kind of slowing down on a lot of things.
Hmm.
K-pop, I think some of the older fans are doing a little bit better with that, but it's still a lot of the younger fans that are just we're angry. People are angry. We see people are angry. We're gonna jump on the bandwagon and be angry too.
Y'all not tired of being angry all the time? Like that's
Right?
why that's why I stopped. Like because it just felt like it was something like every month. That's what it felt like to me at a certain point when I was really into K-pop. That's part of the
Mm-hmm.
reason why I just kind of
Stepped
stopped
away from it. Yeah.
because it was depressing.
Yeah. It is. And like I've said it multiple times, if you don't like something, just ignore it. Like I get learning instances where you want to cancel an idol to teach them a lesson. Don't cancel them. Teach them the lesson and then move on. Like you don't need to sit and simmer and be angry about it, I don't think. And
But I
like if it makes you angry, like not even on the cancel culture, cultural appropriation, that sort of thing.
mhm,
If it's just something that makes you angry,
just
just
leave it.
ignore it. Just leave it. Like you don't need to spend your energy being upset about things. There's too many things going on in the world to be upset about. It's
Yeah,
gonna burn you out.
I
And
agree with that,
K-pop,
except for the
K-pop,
cultural
I feel
appropriation.
like,
Yeah.
yeah, K-pop, I feel like too should be a safe space for people, something to enjoy. It's entertainment, it's music. Like, use it as that.
Mhm,
Don't go find your favorites, move on. Don't focus on things that upset you, especially within the K-pop sphere.
mhm.
Because like Lacey and I have both taken breaks from K-pop because of these issues.
Yeah, I just came from from my aspect is just I'm tired of explaining. I'm not gonna keep doing that.
Yeah.
Um
Except in the podcast, because this is the reason I asked
yeah,
you to start the podcast.
except for like this, but I'm not doing that all
Yeah.
the time. Just
Yeah.
generally as a black person. I shouldn't have to be the history book for you.
Yeah.
Because nobody was the history book for me learning about Asian culture.
Mhm.
Like, I think when you, I don't know, like that's just how I feel. I'm not a freaking teacher. I'm not teaching you anything. The
Unless you're
internet is
paying
right
me for the
there.
lessons.
Yeah, the internet is right there. Is right there. Um,
So
just
use it.
open your mind. Open your mind. Open your eyes. Look, look around, or maybe don't look around. Look on your phone. The answers are there. Just feel like sometimes, depending on the person, I just don't. It's just a lot of aspects to consider, like social
It is.
class, like where you're from, who
Mhm.
you're surrounding yourself with.
I agree.
That's why
There's just
it's a
that's
lot.
why I'm yeah, and that's why it makes it difficult too to really like cancel a person because there's too many
Mhm.
aspects to consider. And I
Yeah, once
think
I started thinking about all that, I was like, wow, I just can't. I can't.
yeah,
I can't.
just use it as a learning opportunity. I think
Mhm.
everybody should be given a chance to learn from their mistakes, as long as it's not a repeated J Park level mistake.
Yeah,
Once
like
you
I.
reach the J Park number of how many times you've done something, then you just deserve it. But people are always changing. The world is always changing. That the way we access new information and what new information is being revealed is always changing. And that's another aspect to keep
Mhm.
in mind. So it's a lot sometimes.
Yeah, I don't really have
All the
anything
time.
else to
I don't
add.
either. There are other reasons that idols get canceled, but You could probably just look him up and
I'm
find him,
sure
to
you've
be
seen it.
honest. Yeah,
Like if you're into K-pop, like
you've
more than
probably seen
me, you
multiple.
know. More than like I'm just not in the I'm not in the trending topics like that with K-pop anymore.
Yeah.
Who was the EXO member that got canceled for having a baby
Oh,
in a row?
Chen. Now
Yeah,
he has two
that
two
one
babies.
was
That one was crazy because he got
insane.
canceled because they released the information of like he was having a baby first and then getting married. And people were upset about that. That was insane because fans were literally like tearing up and burning his merch and throwing his merch away in
Sit
the
out
streets.
here and say you can't
They
say.
had they had a protest. There was like a silent protest or something on the streets protesting him. That was also crazy.
You know how like laughable that would be here if
You're not allowed to have a private life.
like if we were in the time. I wonder if that did happen with like Justin Bieber or like One Direction. You're what? You're doing a protest, a silent protest. You were supposed to be mine. Like you're crazy.
That's yeah. Just a little. Go seek help. You might need more than just touching
You might
grass.
just need to just take a break. You might maybe you need to get a regular job and just cut the internet off for like a week or two and realize how silly you sound.
Juice. Yup.
Because they don't know you. They don't know anything about you. And the way y'all react is like y'all know them personally. But
Yeah.
let us know if there's anyone we missed, if there's something that you thought was like really important to point out. This is always a topic we're gonna bring up. It's
We'll
always
probably
gonna be
come yeah.
like
We'll
it's
probably
gonna
come back to it too at some point maybe. Maybe our opinions will change. Let us know though too if you
maybe
think cancel culture is real or fake since Lacey started the podcast with that episode.
it's not real.
But let us know your opinions. And like obviously there are a lot that we missed. There's no way we can go through all of them, but definitely tell us if you think there's any that were like really prominent that
Mhm.
were just trending for weeks and months at a time that you think we could have touched on.
Do you agree with like do y'all think about the things that we think about in terms of like like canceling someone? Do you think about all those aspects or where do you stop when it comes to trying to understand how it happened? That's what I'm really curious about. Um
So,
so yeah,
cool.
thanks.
Thanks. Yeah, thanks for watching. Thanks for listening. This was one of our more deeper topic episodes. So remember, if you share any opinions, to always be nice to each
Mhm.
other and to us. But otherwise, we will see you next time in whatever episode it may be. Bye.
Bye.